Behind the cheerful smile of the little couple star Zoey Klein lies a story that no one expected. From childhood, Zoey grew up in the public eye. Fans watched her every step, her laughter, her milestones, and her family's journey of love and resilience. But as Zoey grew older, life became more complicated. Her struggles in school shook the very foundation of her family's dreams. When exam results came in, the disappointment was heavy. For the first time, her parents, Dr. Arnold and Bill Klein, felt torn between supporting her studies or guiding her toward a new path. And then came a secret. For 1 year, Zoey had quietly been dating Alex, a young man who captured her heart. No cameras, no headlines, just a love hidden from the world. Now, the secret is over. Today, Zoey Klein is officially engaged to Alex. The family has celebrated the union by gifting the couple a brand new $1 million house. And the countdown begins. The wedding is set for January 10, 2026. But how did Zoey reach this turning point? What heartbreaks, secrets, and sacrifices shaped this moment? This is the untold story of Zoey Klein, her fall, her love, her rise, and the beginning of a new life. The story of Zoey Klein begins thousands of miles away from the bright lights of reality TV. Born in India in 2011, Zoey entered the world with a condition that would make her life journey both unique and challenging: skeletal dysplasia. When Dr. Arnold and Bill Klein, already parents to their adopted son Will, saw Zoey's picture, they instantly felt a connection. Their family was already well known from the little couple, but adoption was never about cameras. It was about love. In late 2013, Zoey officially became a Klein. The family traveled to India, bringing her home to Houston, Texas. Viewers around the world watched as Zoey transitioned into her new life, shy at first, but slowly opening up, showing glimpses of her bright personality. As the years passed, Zoey grew into a young woman admired by fans. She loved dancing, art, and often surprised her parents with her wit. From the outside, it seemed like Zoey had everything: loving parents, a protective older brother, and a secure home. But behind the scenes, Zoey faced the same pressures as any teenager: school, exams, expectations, and the heavy shadow of living in the public eye. It was supposed to be just another milestone, another school exam, another set of results. But when the day arrived, life took an unexpected turn. Zoey's results were devastating. She had failed her exam. The shock was overwhelming. Jen, known for her resilience as a neonatologist, struggled to process the reality. Bill, usually the calmer parent, felt the sting of disappointment as well. For parents who had always encouraged education and hard work, this moment felt like a crossroads. The cameras weren't rolling. This wasn't reality TV. It was real life, messy, complicated, and raw. Zoey herself was shattered. She had tried, but the pressure had been too much. Sitting alone in her room, she replayed every mistake in her head. The disappointment in her parents' eyes weighed heavier than the failing grade. For the first time, the family asked a painful question: what if studying isn't the right path for Zoey? Dinner that night was quiet. No laughter, no chatter, just the clinking of forks against plates. Finally, Jen broke the silence. "Zoey, we know you've worked hard, but we need to think about what's best for your future." Zoey lowered her head, unable to meet her mother's eyes. Bill added softly, "Maybe it's time we accept that academics might not be the only path for you." It wasn't anger, it was worry. A deep, parental worry about what would come next. Zoey sat in silence, tears threatening to fall. She didn't want to argue. She didn't want to explain the secret she had been hiding for months. That while school had been difficult, her heart had found comfort elsewhere, in someone. That night, Jen and Bill stayed awake for hours, discussing options. Should they push her harder? Hire tutors? Or should they think about another future? Life has a strange way of balancing disappointment with unexpected joy. While Zoey was struggling with school, she had already found something: or rather, someone that gave her hope. His name was Alex. They met at a cultural event in Houston. Zoey had reluctantly joined her classmates for a weekend dance program. Nervous and shy, she never expected to meet someone who would see her not as the girl from TV, but simply as Zoey. Alex was different. He wasn't interested in her family's fame. He didn't care about cameras or headlines. He cared about her smile, her humor, and the way she carried herself despite her struggles. At first, it was just friendship. Late-night chats about school, jokes shared over text messages, and the comfort of someone who understood. But as weeks turned into months, friendship blossomed into something deeper. Zoey had found love, a quiet, secret love that she guarded carefully. She knew her parents would worry. She knew her family expected her to focus on studies. But in Alex's presence, she felt safe, understood, and most importantly, free. Keeping a relationship secret is never easy, especially for someone in the public eye. For a whole year, Zoey and Alex lived in shadows. They met after school, at parks, coffee shops, or during family-approved outings that gave Zoey brief freedom. Every photo, every text, every memory, they hid them like precious treasures. Alex understood. He respected Zoey's world, her parents' strict expectations, and the scrutiny of fans. He never pressured her to reveal the truth. Instead, he simply promised, "I'll wait until the time is right." Zoey's heart grew stronger with every passing day. While school made her feel like a failure, Alex made her feel like she was enough. But secrets don't last forever. And as Zoey's struggles at school deepened, her parents' conversations about her future grew more intense.
That was perfect.
That's when Zoey knew the time had come. She had to tell them. It was a late evening. The family sat in the living room, the air heavy with unspoken words. Zoey's hands trembled as she finally whispered, "Mom, Dad, there's something I need to tell you." Jen and Bill exchanged worried glances. "I've been seeing someone," Zoey confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "His name is Alex. We've been together for a year." The silence that followed was deafening. Jen's heart skipped a beat. Bill leaned back, stunned. For a moment, they didn't know whether to be angry or relieved. Zoey rushed to explain. "He's kind. He respects me. He makes me happy. I didn't tell you because I was scared you'd take him away from me." Bill finally spoke, his voice calm but firm. "Zoey, this is a lot for us to process. You failed your exam, and now this. Are you sure about him?" Zoey nodded with tears in her eyes. "I've never been more sure about anything." That night, after Zoey went to her room, Jen and Bill sat for hours. They weighed every possibility. Was Alex trustworthy? Could marriage really be the answer? By sunrise, they knew one thing. Zoey's future wouldn't be built on textbooks. It would be built on love. The living room became the battlefield of two very different visions for Zoey's future. Jen sat with her hands folded tightly, her doctor's mind always leaning toward education. "She's too young," Jen whispered. "Marriage isn't a solution to failing an exam. It's a life-altering decision." Bill, ever the practical father, leaned forward. "Jen, think about it. She's struggling in school. Forcing her into something she isn't built for may break her spirit even more. Maybe giving her stability, a husband who cares for her, will help her grow in ways school never could." The debate lasted hours. Education was the dream, the safe route. Marriage was the leap, the risk. But when they looked into Zoey's eyes, filled with desperation yet determination, they saw something else. A girl who wasn't asking for rescue, but for recognition of her own choice. And slowly, the impossible idea of marriage began to feel like the right decision. The next morning, the decision was made. Jen and Bill sat Zoey down at the dining table. The air was heavy, but this time, there was no disappointment in their eyes. "Zoey," Bill began, his voice steady, "we've talked. We've argued. We've worried. But at the end of the day, you're our daughter, and we want you to be happy." Jen added, her tone softer than ever. "If Alex is truly the one, then maybe this is the right path. We'll support you. We'll arrange your engagement." Zoey's jaw dropped. She had expected resistance, maybe even punishment. Instead, she felt tears welling up as relief washed over her. "Really?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Really?" Jin said with a faint smile. "But this comes with responsibility. Marriage is not an escape, it's a commitment." Zoey rushed to hug them both. For the first time in months, the house was filled with warmth, not silence. The Klein family had chosen love over academics. And with that, Zoey's life was about to change forever. With the engagement set in motion, one question remained. Who exactly was Alex? Alex wasn't from television. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't chasing fame. He was a quiet, grounded young man from a modest background. Born and raised in Houston, Alex was the son of immigrants who had built a small but respectable family business. From childhood, he was taught the values of hard work, humility, and respect. Friends described him as dependable, the kind of person who always showed up when he said he would. Teachers remembered his sharp mind, though he chose to work in the family's business instead of pursuing a flashy career. For Zoey, none of that mattered. What mattered was that Alex saw her. He didn't see her as a TV personality. He didn't measure her worth by her grades. He simply saw a young woman with dreams, fears, and a heart ready to love. When Alex first learned that Zoey's parents were considering arranging their marriage, he was stunned. But instead of fear, he felt pride. Pride that Zoey trusted him. Pride that her parents were willing to place their daughter's happiness in his hands. And as whispers of the upcoming engagement spread quietly among family and close friends, Alex made a silent vow. "I will protect her. I will stand by her. I will give her the life she deserves." The Klein home was buzzing with preparations. Invitations had been quietly sent to close friends and family. No TV cameras, no reporters. This wasn't for the world. This was for Zoey. On the morning of the engagement, Zoey woke up with trembling hands. She stood in front of the mirror, her reflection staring back with equal parts fear and joy. "This is really happening," she whispered to herself. Jin helped her with the dress, a simple yet elegant pastel gown that matched her personality. Bill tried to hold back his emotions as he looked at his daughter. "You're still my little girl," he said softly, "but today you take your first step into a new life." When Alex arrived with his family, the atmosphere shifted. Warm embraces, nervous smiles, and laughter filled the house. He looked at Zoey as if no one else in the room existed. The ceremony itself was small but meaningful. Rings were exchanged, words of promise spoken. Zoey's heart raced as Alex gently held her hand and whispered, "I'll never let you down." Applause erupted. Tears flowed. For the first time since her exam failure, Zoey felt not like a disappointment, but like someone cherished, chosen, and celebrated. That night, as the guests left, Zoey sat quietly in her room, staring at her engagement ring. It wasn't just jewelry. It was proof that her story was changing. The following week, Jen and Bill revealed something that left Zoey and Alex speechless. They gathered the couple in the living room. Jen smiled nervously while Bill cleared his throat. "We've been thinking about your future," he said. "Marriage is about building a home, so we wanted to give you a head start." He handed Zoey a small box. Inside wasn't jewelry or a check. It was a set of house keys. Zoey's eyes widened. "What is this?" Jen explained, her voice trembling with pride. "It's your new house. A $1 million home. It's our gift to you and Alex as you start this journey together." Alex was stunned. His hands shook as he held the keys. He came from a modest family. This kind of wealth was unimaginable. "I don't even know what to say," he whispered. Zoey threw her arms around her parents, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you. Thank you for believing in me." The house itself was beautiful, modern, spacious, with sunlight streaming through wide windows. Every corner represented security, stability, and a future waiting to be written. For Zoey, it wasn't just a house. It was proof that despite failure, She was loved enough to be given another chance at life. With the engagement done and the house secured, attention quickly turned to the wedding. The date was set, January 10, 2026, just over a year away. At first, Zoey dreamed of a grand celebration, dresses, flowers, music, and endless laughter. But reality soon settled in. Planning a wedding was overwhelming. Venues were expensive, guest lists created tension, and every decision felt like a test. Jen wanted something elegant and timeless. Bill preferred simple and meaningful. Zoey wanted colors, dancing, and energy. Alex wanted only one thing, Zoey's smile on that day. There were late-night arguments, long meetings with planners, and moments of doubt. At times, Zoey wondered if she was ready for the responsibility. At other times, she was swept away in excitement, pinning dresses and venues on her phone with her best friends. Through it all, Alex stayed calm. Whenever Zoey panicked, he would gently say, "The day doesn't matter as much as the life we're building. As long as you're walking toward me at the altar, everything else is noise." That reassurance was all Zoey needed. The countdown had begun. In less than 14 months, she would walk down the aisle, not as the little girl the world once knew, but as a woman stepping boldly into her future. When word of Zoey's engagement leaked beyond the family circle, the world of the little couple fans lit up. Social media flooded with reactions. Some were joyful. "She deserves happiness after everything she's been through. Zoey looks so grown up. I can't believe she's engaged already." Others were skeptical, even critical. "Isn't she too young? Shouldn't she focus on school? Marriage because of an exam failure? That doesn't feel right." The headlines came fast. Zoey Klein engaged at young age. Little couple star gifted $1 million house by parents. Some tabloids painted it as a fairy tale. Others questioned the family's decision. But inside the Klein household, the chatter of the outside world meant little. Bill turned off the television one night and told his daughter, "People will always talk, Zoey. But only you will live this life, so let them talk. You focus on love." For Zoey, those words were everything. She stopped scrolling, stopped reading, and started living in the moment. Throughout all of this, one person stayed quietly by Zoey's side, her older brother, Will Klein. Will had always been protective of Zoey. From the moment she came home from India, he had been her shield, her playmate, her partner in crime. Now, he was her confidant. When Zoey showed him the engagement ring for the first time, Will smirked. "So, Alex, huh? The guy who's been hanging around." Zoey laughed nervously. "You knew?" "Of course I knew," Will replied, rolling his eyes. "I'm your brother. I see things Mom and Dad don't." But then his voice grew serious. "Zoey, just promise me one thing. Promise me he'll treat you right. Because if he doesn't, he'll have to answer to me." Zoey hugged him tightly. "I promise." On the night of the engagement, Will stood off to the side, watching his little sister take a giant leap into adulthood. Pride swelled in his chest, mixed with a bittersweet sadness. "She's not my little sister anymore," he thought. "She's someone's future wife." But deep down, Will knew, no matter what, they would always share an unbreakable bond. For Jen and Bill, the days after the engagement were filled with reflection. At night, after Zoey had gone to bed, they would sit together in the quiet of their new Boston home, sipping tea and talking about the whirlwind of events. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Jen asked one evening, her brow furrowed with worry. "She's so young. Marriage is forever." Bill placed his hand on hers. "Jen, think about everything we taught her. We've given her love, values, and support. Maybe she didn't find success in exams, but maybe she'll find success in building a family of her own." Jen sighed. "I just wanted her to have choices." "She still does," Bill reassured her. "This isn't an ending, it's a beginning." In that moment, they both realized something important. Parenting wasn't about following a script. It was about adjusting, about letting go, and about trusting the child they had raised. Even as modern professionals who valued education, They had chosen something deeply traditional, and though doubt lingered, so did hope. Zoey often found herself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying the whirlwind of the past months. She remembered the sting of failing her exam, the way her heart had sunk when she saw the grade. She had felt worthless, like a disappointment. For weeks, she had carried that burden, convinced that she had let her family down. Now, when she looked at the sparkling ring on her finger, she saw something else, a second chance. But it wasn't all joy. There were moments of doubt. Sometimes, late at night, Zoey would whisper to herself, "Am I really ready for this? What if I fail at marriage too?" One evening, she confided in Alex. "What if I'm not enough? What if I let everyone down again?" Alex gently took her hand. "You're not defined by grades or mistakes, Zoey. You're defined by the way you love, the way you care, the way you bring light into people's lives. And that's more than enough for me." Zoey burst into tears, not of sadness, but of relief. For the first time in a long time, she felt seen, not as a student, not as a TV personality, but simply as herself. Her failure was no longer the end of her story. It was the beginning of a new one. The calendar became Zoey's favorite object. Each morning, she would cross off another day, smiling as the date grew closer. January 10, 2026. The preparations intensified. Dresses were tried on, venues booked, menus debated. Jen threw herself into organizing the details, determined to give her daughter a wedding she'd never forget. Bill handled the financial side, carefully managing the expenses and negotiating with vendors. Zoey, meanwhile, floated between excitement and nerves. She spent hours scrolling through Pinterest, imagining flower arrangements and color palettes. She sketched little designs of dresses on notepads, showing them to her mother. She even tried to picture herself walking down the aisle, though every time, her heart pounded so hard she had to close her eyes. Family friends who had known Zoey since she was little sent congratulatory messages. Some even joked, "We blinked and she grew up." Will, ever the teasing brother, would walk by her room and say, "Don't trip on your big day, okay?" The house was filled with energy, anticipation, and at times, tension. But under it all was one truth: the countdown had begun, and nothing could stop it. The night before the wedding, the Klein family gathered for the rehearsal dinner. The venue glowed softly with candles. Laughter echoed, but beneath the surface, emotions ran high. Zoey was nervous. She practiced walking down the aisle with her father, clutching his arm tightly. Bill whispered, "Relax, Zoe. Tomorrow you'll shine brighter than you ever have." But not everything was perfect. Jen stressed over last-minute details. The flowers weren't arranged properly, the seating plan had a mistake, and the caterer was late. For a moment, her frustration boiled over. "This isn't how it's supposed to be," she snapped. Zoey touched her mother's arm. "Mom, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real." Those words calmed Jen instantly. She realized her daughter was no longer a child. She was wise, strong, and ready. Later that evening, Zoey and Alex shared a quiet moment away from the crowd. They stood under the stars, holding hands. "Tomorrow," Alex whispered. "Tomorrow," Zoey replied with a trembling smile. In that moment, all the stress, all the fear, all the uncertainty melted away. What remained was love. Pure, undeniable love. The entire Klein family has started counting the days. January 10, 2026. That date feels like it has been written in red ink on everyone's calendar. Every morning, Zoey wakes up and marks off another square, her excitement spreading through the house like sunshine. Her laughter, her glow, her anticipation, all of it fills every corner of their home. But alongside joy comes pressure. The flower order runs into a mix-up. The DJ and the band don't see eye to eye. Zoey keeps trying gown after gown, but still hasn't found the perfect one. Jen, eager to make everything flawless, is exhausted. Bill reassures her gently. "Jen, these are just pre-wedding jitters. It will all come together in the end." Sometimes Zoey feels overwhelmed, but each time, Alex takes her hand and whispers, "Just remember, you're walking toward me. That's all that matters. I'll handle the rest." And in that promise, Zoey finds her smile again. The house feels transformed. Walls are dressed with new decorations. The air carries the sweet scent of flowers. And every conversation seems to circle back to one thing, the wedding. Will jokes daily? "Zoey, you're going to drive me crazy before January." Zoey giggles and replies, "Don't forget, you'll be dancing with me that night." Jen often finds herself pausing, reflecting. The little girl she once held in her arms in India now stands on the brink of an entirely new chapter. Bill, meanwhile, quietly beams with pride. Our Zoey has truly chosen her own path. Everyone knows that January 10, 2026 will not just be about Zoey and Alex. It will mark a new beginning for the entire Klein family. But that day hasn't arrived yet. The countdown continues. And each night, as Zoey lies in her room, she turns her engagement ring slowly on her finger and whispers to herself, "One more year, then my new life begins." And so today's story ends here. The little couple stars Zoey Klein's journey. Her failure did not define her. Instead, through those struggles, she discovered love, hope, and the courage to build a new life. Now, all eyes rest on one date, January 10, 2026. The day Zoey Klein will step onto the wedding stage. But for now, the story pauses. The rest is left in the hands of the future. More update. The little couple Jen Arnold shares Gotcha Day tribute for Zoey. Bill Klein gets emotional over Will and Zoey. The little couple Zoey Klein back to Bollywood. And Zoey Klein, the journey of the little couple star. I will explain everything. The little couple Jen Arnold shares Gotcha Day tribute for Zoey. Jen Arnold, a well-known member of the little couple, recently shared a one-of-a-kind tribute to Zoey Klein on her Gotcha Day. So on this historic day, what else did Jen wish to convey? Several years viewers of the little couple were aware that Jen Arnold and Bill Klein adopted 2 children when they desired a family. They are a happy family of 4 since adopting Will, a Chinese boy, and Zoey, an Indian girl. An enjoyment for viewers of the little couple has been witnessing the maturation of Will and Zoey. Many are sad about the show's cancellation because it means they won't get to see the family or the kids very frequently. But fans won't have to worry. Jen often updates her social media with family photos and updates. Jen Arnold recently took to social media to mark a significant event with Zoey Klein. Zoey was gotcha on the day that Jen and Bill officially adopted their daughter. With some touching sentiments, Jen shared a throwback photo of herself, Bill, and their daughter Zoey with Jen's fans of the daughter couple. Zoey Klein is rapidly approaching puberty. Still, Jen took a little trip down memory lane as she recalled the day Zoey joined their family and officially made them 4. The star of the little couple wrote, "Hard to believe this was US 11 years ago today. In honor of the significant anniversary, Zoey Klein, the unique one, celebrated Gotcha Day with much joy. We are incredibly proud of the young woman you are becoming." In reaction to Jen Arnold's unique throwback update, many little couple followers were fast to offer their congratulations and other sentiments of compassion. Many have wondered how the heck so much time has passed since the family program first aired, especially those who witnessed Jen and Bill adopt Zoey. Someone said, "Remember the Bill sandwiches with Zoe and Will," in reference to the little couple drama. "Absolutely not 11 years ago," added another follower. "I thought I saw this one a year ago." Time is passing at a dizzying rate. Let me reminisce about our journey with Il and Zoey. A third commenter made the observation, "I've always watched your show. Your roles as parents are second to none, Bill. God has mercy on your beautiful family. Absorb myself in your performance." Along the same lines, someone else remarked, "I remember watching this back then, such a treasured memory, so cute." The little couple Bill Klein gets emotional over Will and Zoey. On the little couple, Viewers witnessed Will and Zoey Klein's father, Bill, becoming increasingly distressed as he observed his children's maturation week after week. Viewers of TLC will always hold the cutest tiny toddlers in high regard. Evidently, such was their sentiment. It is unusual for shows with few characters to have so little harmful drama. Perhaps that's why TLC chose to end the popular program. Zoey and Will were raised by Bill Klein in his home during the coronavirus outbreak. Many who watched the family on TLC were hoping to see them again once the outbreak was past. Still, it hasn't happened. Many people rely on posts that Jill Arnold makes. Every once in a while, she'll also see her husband's Instagram posts. These little couple kids aren't little anymore. School athletics are Will's strong suit, and he towers over his mother. His newfound knowledge of leadership has prepared him so well that he is now captaining the football team. The parents love their children with an intensity that matches that of the TLC viewers. Just for a second, picture a world in which they hadn't gone to India and China to complete their family. Bill Kellen posted a few new Instagram images of himself, Zoey, and Will in the days preceding the weekend. On top of that, he selected some priceless images of the kids from their youth. Happy National Adoption Day was his caption wish to all. Had an indescribable, wonderful effect on my life. Jen Arnold and I are grateful for every opportunity we've had to raise these two. Their future endeavors and achievements will be fascinating to watch. Photos of the kids from the little couple have become fans' favorites since they portray the kids as great adults with bright futures. Several viewers reminisced over Zoey's heartbreaking Gotcha Day moment in response to the photos of their beloved TLC family. She had no idea her parents were such wonderful people when they brought her home. How these little ones have blossomed. That's incredible. I witnessed you all assisting Will and Zoey as Jen was in the hospital being told she had cancer. You have a strong and close-knit family. You are loved by all of us. Thanks to reality TV, you guys are all okay. Many have given their approval. Meeting you two was a blessing, even though I regret not being able to be there to see your adoption process with your two beautiful children. Do you think Jen Arnold and Bill Klein, Will's adoptive parents, hit it big? What is Zoey's position? Do you remember how terrified she was when she was first brought out of the Indian orphanage? What a great little family that Jen Arnold and Bill Klein have. The little couple Zoey Klein back to Bollywood. Born in India, 11-year-old Zoey Klein's mother, Dr. Jen Arnold, takes great pleasure in guiding her daughter in rediscovering her Bollywood Indian background. Her admirers noticed that she started with that even when she was a little girl. Viewers of TLC were ecstatic when they saw her mother recently give credit to the talented dancer and artist. It's hard to imagine that Will Klein's adoptive sister detested being around Billy and Jen Arnold when she was terrified of them. The time that Jen spent recovering from cancer allowed her to connect with her new parents, which was a blessing. She has grown out of her childhood and no longer struggles with crippling self-doubt. True, she had gone for her first thought treatment before, and she had gone ear piercing with her mom not long before. Reviving the show on TLC would be a dream come true for Zoey and all of the little couple fans. However, it seems like the network may be in charge entirely if they ever do. In the meanwhile, Jen updates her followers on Will, Zoey, the pets, and her medical job through social media. Zoey's devoted followers can tell that she hasn't lost her love for music, horses, reading, and art. What emerged this week was a post that showed her dancing in a Bollywood style. Many were delighted to hear in 2019 that the family had a fantastic time touring museums and other attractions in India. In subsequent conversations, Bill brought up his daughter's love of Bollywood dancing. Even after all these years, she still adores it. This week, Zoey's mom shared an Instagram video demonstrating her excitement for the project. In the video, she performed in the studio while appearing calm and collected. The little couple alumnus captioned the photo, "Zoey is back at Bollywood and loving it. I am overjoyed." Happy onlookers lauded her once again for letting her daughter immerse herself in Indian traditions. One of them commented, "You are an amazing mother. Keep celebrating your children's heritage." Fans of the little couple may have seen Zoey practice for a recital at one point. It would be much appreciated by her fans if she could do that again. If it happens again, her mom might consider sharing it online. If TLC were to decide to bring the show back for fans to enjoy on their TVs, it would be really fantastic. You know, even though Zoey grew raised in America, I think it's great that her mom makes sure she stays connected to her roots. Feel free to express your thoughts in the designated area below. Zoey Klein, The Journey of the Little Couple star. The Little Couple, a reality show that her family hosted, put Zoey Klein in front of the camera from a young age. Dr. Jennifer Arnold and Bill Klein, her famous parents, became reality TV stars, and she became a member of that famous family. Having said that, Zoey Klein is used to the constant attention from the cameras. Bill Klein stands at 4 feet, 2 inches, while Dr. Jennifer Arnold, who has skeletal dysplasia, is 3 feet, 2 inches tall. In 2009, after their wedding, reality TV viewers were introduced to them and were immediately captivated by their honest personalities and carefree lifestyles. The young couple shared their experience of infertility and went on to adopt 2 children from different nations. They were already overjoyed when their 2 children arrived, and the fact that they could adopt such cute creatures only made their delight grow. Zoey Klein came into this world on September 22, 2011 in Delhi, India, while her biological family information are still a mystery. Dr. Jennifer Arnold and Bill Klein adopted her after an experience that lasted nearly a year. Upon returning home with their first adopted child, the couple's first plan was to refrain from adopting again. The Little People of America reserve list was something they did, though. The adoption agency contacted the couple soon after they finalized the adoption of their first child, offering them the chance to expand their family with a daughter. The couple couldn't ignore the opportunity. The young couple's desire to start a family with a daughter has always been their top priority. Zoey Klein was adopted into her adoptive family after a 16-month wait. Now that they had taken care of it, the family had to convince her to love her new home. Upon initially meeting her adoptive parents, she exhibited extreme hostility and frequently broke down in tears. Despite all that had happened, the Kleins still loved her and made every effort to help her settle in. Klein now seems completely at ease in their presence, having come to love them more and more as the years have gone by. The moment Zoey Klein joined the Klein family, she was the focus of everyone's attention. As Klein's loving parents, Bill Klein, a trader in medical supplies, and Jennifer Arnold, a neonatologist at Texas Children's Hospital, will be familiar faces to viewers of the TLC show The Little Couple. A 1-hour TLC special titled Little People, Just Married introduced the audience to the newlyweds and their trip to Houston, Texas in 2009. Viewers saw the couple's one-of-a-kind home and the difficulties they had as new parents throughout the episode. It appears that reality TV had been following Zoey Klein's family prior to her joining them, based on their exposure. After 14 years and 134 episodes, the sitcom ended airing on September 24, 2019. The likelihood that the Kleins will return to television is growing among viewers. Prior to Zoey's conversion, William Klein was recognized as the adoptive son of her parents. During the 5th season of The Little Couple, which aired in March 2013, the family welcomed Will, an adoptive boy from Hohhot, China. Will is short and has a unique bond with his sister. This is true of all members of the Klein family. As she settled into her new home with her adoptive family, he was at her side. The family threw a party in February 2023 to celebrate Will's 12th birthday. With plenty of time on her hands, Zoey Klein is exploring all of her options in order to choose her own path. As she grew older, her passion for ballet, which she had when she was younger, began to fade. However, she considered going back to school to hone her dancing skills after seeing The Nutcracker in December 2022 with her family, which rekindled her enthusiasm. While her brother prefers to play the saxophone, Klein has been taking special horse lessons. Klein, too, has shown an interest in her mom's profession. After purchasing their $2,138,700 Boston estate in late 2022, Zoey Klein and her family moved in. Built in 2021, this 5,400 square foot farmhouse has 6 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. The living space has a gas fireplace and the kitchen is ultra-modern. Farmhouse fixer host Jonathan Knight allegedly helped Klein's parents secure and fix up the house. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.